starting. So please stay tuned. Hello everybody and welcome to my Twitch channel. My name is Paul Newman. Thank you very much for dropping by, and I can assure you now that the live stream will soon be starting. So please stay tuned. Hello everybody and welcome to my Twitch channel. My name is Paul Newman. Thank you very much for dropping by, and I can assure you now that the live stream will soon be starting. So please stay tuned. Hello everybody and welcome to my Twitch channel. My name is Paul Newman. Thank you very much for dropping by, and I can assure you now that the live stream will soon be starting. So please stay tuned. Hello everybody and welcome to my Twitch channel. My name is Paul Newman. Thank you very much for dropping by, and I can assure you now that the live stream will soon be starting. So please stay tuned. Hello everybody and welcome to my Twitch channel. My name is Paul Newman. Thank you very much for dropping by, and I can assure you now that the live stream will soon be starting. So please stay tuned. Hello everybody and welcome to my Twitch channel. My name is Paul Newman. Thank you very much for dropping by, and I can assure you now that the live stream will soon be starting. So please stay tuned. Hello everybody and welcome to my Twitch channel. My name is Paul Newman. Thank you very much for dropping by, and I can assure you now that the live stream will soon be starting. So please stay tuned. Hello everybody and welcome to my Twitch channel. My name is Paul Newman. Thank you very much for dropping by, and I hello everybody, and welcome back to what is a surprise, really, a bonus edition of Reprieve Media CIC Double Handful. They're always the best ones. Before we start, I'm just going to direct everybody to the Classic Watch 2023 website. There's plenty of horses on there. Well, there's 15 horses on there, although two of them have had setbacks. Statuette, unfortunately, the Justify sired half sister to Tenebrism, that has been ruled out of the English 1,000 guineas, sadly. So we're looking at the Irish 1,000 guineas for her, and commissioning obviously was retired before the season even started, the Fillies Mile winner. So basically, what we got for you today is we're going to try and touch base with an old colleague of Double Handful who joined us a while back, a couple of years back in the pre-pandemic era of horse racing. We took a look at many a classic, and we took a look at the Pegasus World Cup and a few trials. And it's with the April the 1st trials that we are going to start today. And the lady who is joining us now is all the way from good old US of A, Monica McCarthy. Monica, there she is. Monica, how are you there? Yes, you are there. I can see you. Hello.
Hello. So good to be back.
Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it? It's been a while since we've had you giving your voices on the radio. It was the radio then. We've I've still got a face for radio, obviously. You certainly haven't. So basically what we've got today is we're just gonna start taking a look at some trials on the 1st of April. We're also going to take a look back at the 2022 Kentucky Derby, which I'm sure you'll agree was a remarkable outcome and a remarkable race. And before that, though, I understand that Decatur, Illinois, has lost its best racing expert, Monica. Is that true?
Yes, they sure have. They sure have. I have moved over to near Springfield, Illinois, which is the capital of the state. And I live in a small village called Sherman. It's just in the northeastern part of Springfield metropolitan area. And it's just like I said, it's a village, so it's like about 4,500 people. But you're close to Springfield, so you have all the amenities that you'd want, with a little bigger city. And it's a little bit bigger in Decatur, and it's been a nice change, and it's kind of adventurous for me. I'm learning to drive all around the city in Springfield, so it's been good.
Fantastic. And how far away from where you are was Decatur? Have you had to move far?
It's probably about 35 miles, something like that. Yeah, it's not that far, and you can get on the freeway and go. But I tend to go the back ways, like the county roads and whatnot, and not usually get on the interstate. And there's Interstate here, 55, that runs from Chicago to St. Louis. So, we're pretty central in the state because they call it Central Illinois. But yeah, I like it. And
fantastic.
I have.
And hopefully,
I've reconnected.
The horse. Go on. Sorry. Go on.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. I've reconnected with a childhood friend, and that's been a good thing too. So, but yeah,
fantastic.
It's fun.
So it's fantastic to hear. And hopefully the horses will continue to run fast in your new home for you. Speaking of which, we'll be back to record a little bit more towards the end of the week. We sit here now, it's Wednesday the 29th of March. The races aren't until the 1st of April. So we'll be recording some more probably tomorrow. We'll be looking at the two races. But before we do that, I think we ought to give people that are new to what we do here a chance to take a look at the sort of race they can expect in May, the Kentucky Derby. By the best way really of doing that, I think, is by showing them last year's race. I mean, it was an interesting race last year, I think. I mean, Epicenter went off the favourite. And I'm sure, Monica, I'm going to play the race now, and then we'll get your views on what really was a remarkable race, I think. We'll just play it now for the ladies and gentlemen watching the video.
Goes back in. Ready for a start. And they're off in the Kentucky Derby. Good beginning, and Summer is Tomorrow takes it to him right off the mark. Straight to the front, and Crown Pride is showing speed too. And Messier is not far behind either. Taba toward the outside, past the Twin Spires for the first time. Summer is Tomorrow, setting the pace down inside, and Crown Pride is going to stalk the pace on the outside in second. Zozos comes on to be third. Messier with a great spot toward the rail in fourth. Cyberknife comes away in fifth. Taba's racing in sixth. Charge It in tight toward the rail while seventh. Epicenter comes out racing in eighth.
So they're going round now, Monica. We just sort of have to be quiet now and let it happen, really.
Zandon toward the inside, 11th.
People
is patient with
watching
him.
the race now.
And
I mean,
it's White Abario racing in 12th.
How many thousands of people watch this race live?
In 13th. Tawny Port is 14th. Simplification
Wow.
is 15th by 3. Chase the Bomb is 16th.
I don't know what
It's 17th.
I don't know what
near the back of the pack in 18th, followed by Barber Road.
The number
Happy Jack
of
is the
people there
down the
at
backstretch run. A merciless
Churchill Downs was for last year, but it's always a big crowd. It's always, a lot of people there.
Summer is Tomorrow, Crown Pride, and now Messier.
Are you talking about worldwide or
on through?
No, just
Here's
live
taking the
track.
lead for the far turn run. Crown Pride tries to go with Messier.
Not really sure.
Epicenter is on the move now. Epicenter is making progress as they round the far turn, and Cyberknife is there too. So too Smile Happy. Zandon is picking through the pack. Zandon is switched on, and here he comes. Charge It is there. White Abario coming with a wide sweeping move. Taba's trying to find a way through, as is Tawny Port, as the field turns for home at Churchill Downs. Epicenter running for the roses. He turns for home in front by 3, but Zandon is digging in, and here comes Zandon now. Zandon's closing in quickly. Simplification is late on the scene. Tawny Port and Barber Road, final 16th of the Derby, and it's still Epicenter. Zandon surging, and here comes Rich Strike down toward the inside. It's a wild finish in the Kentucky Derby, and on the wire, Rich Strike does it. Wow! A shocker in the Kentucky Derby. Epicenter ran second. Zandon was third. It's tight for fourth. Simplification or Mo Donegal. It is Rich Strike at 80-1.
Wow, 80-1, Monica. 81-1 winner there of the Kentucky Derby. It's just a shame that we're the biggest. They say these trials are very important, and the trial there revealed that having the camera on and interviewing somebody and playing a video at the same time is not necessarily what my computer wants there. so apologies for everybody who had to sit through that race, stopping loads of times. But Monica, what a day that was at last year's Kentucky Derby. Run us through what you were feeling at the time.
Kind of complete and utter shock. Very surprising, when you follow these horses, all year long and watch them, get ready to, for the Kentucky Derby, getting enough points to get in the race, and hopefully the horses don't get injured some way where they're off the Derby trail. And then to see what you said, an 80-1 shot go across the finish line to win the actual race. That type of horse just ran the race of their lifetime, obviously, because, it was a late entry as well. Some horse, was just, not qualified to race. I don't remember what the actual situation was, but his camp didn't even know they were going to be in the Derby until the last minute, type situation. And then it started out 99-1, but when they took off, it was 80-1, like you had mentioned. And to have a horse race with those odds, and to get the perfect pace setup was one thing, and then to have the most brilliant ride for that horse that most people have ever seen in their life. I mean, that was so shocking as well. And, there towards the end of the race, we see Epicenter and Zandon. We're thinking, okay, this is going down. Okay, I can see this, and then all of a sudden this one horse, kind of sort of comes out of nowhere, was on the rail, took, like I said, his jockey was brilliant. The way he rode that horse, it was, all for nothing, we got to give it the best shot. And that jockey gave the best shot for that horse. That horse, people would say after the Derby that that horse may never win another race. It went, right. It went in and ran in the Preakness, or maybe it didn't run in the Preakness, but it definitely ran in the Belmont. It did well. I mean, it wasn't the last horse coming through, so I don't know. It was just a very surprising.
It's all about getting your horse to peak on the biggest day of its career, and for somehow they certainly did that. Not that they knew, because like you correctly said, I forgot about that. It was actually the reserve, and they have a system on the Kentucky Derby to ensure that 20 runners run. So if one of them is a non-runner on the day of the race, say before in the last 3 or 4 hours of the race, 5 hours before the race, they let something called an also eligible run, I think, and that's what happened with this horse. So the day before the race, they weren't even guaranteed a run, But somehow, to me though, the horse will always go down as a legend, because it was clear to me after watching that run and watching the next 3 or 4 runs of it that the horse was an absolute lunatic. I mean, I remember it trying to buy a few horses once as well. It was America's hungriest racehorse. Every time someone went near it tried to eat it. It was a truly incredible performance from the horse at 81-1. And it's just gone. I've won the Kentucky at 81-1, and if I want to eat you, I'm going to eat you. And there's a few times where it tried to eat any horse that went near it, in true style. And there's some horses that are famed for that. And that's certainly, this horse here has to go down as one of them, I think, because it certainly did, didn't it?
Yes, it sure did.
Rich Strike.
We've seen some crazier races, but this one was one that we'll always remember.
Absolutely. A truly incredible horse. I mean, I'm sure just for the horse and the fact that it's done that, it's won that race, and the way that it acted after it won it was just incredible. And it'll go down as a horse, I think, in American history without any shadow of a doubt after that. Because it don't get any better than that. They could train horses. I think them connections can own horses for 50 years, train horses for 50 years. That jockey could ride horses for 50 years. And it ain't going to get any better than that. That is the epitome of their career. And it was a fantastic performance. But I'm sure those that fancied Epicenter would have been absolutely pig sick to see it come over the top at 81-1. Oh my word! I mean, it was a race really I didn't really have much of an interest in. Unfortunately, I'm just looking at the race now. I remember my old mate Simplification. I mean, he finished 4th, and he's not won another race since. Mo Donegal actually did win the Belmont after finishing 5th in the Derby. So the old adage here, we have him 4th in the Derby, 1st in the Ledger, was nearly right there for Mo Donegal. He was 5th in the Derby and 1st in the 1.5 mile race. There's others. It was the year, of course it was, where a man called Tim Yakteen, who nobody had heard of, all of a sudden started training horses. Everyone used to said it was a Bob Baffert in a wig. But, of course, he trained Tabor and Messier, 2 former Bob Baffert runners, because Baffert is banned from having runners in this race. And they were both soundly beat. The Japanese horse Crown Pride was 13th. Yeah, it was an interesting race last year for sure. Cyberknife, of course, had its fans on the day, and that was 18th position. So it was a fascinating race, Monica. I'm sure you'll agree. And this year's, before we wrap this little segment up and look at some races, this year's promises to be the same, doesn't it?
It very well could. We never know. Well, we shall see.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to wrap this segment. Go on. Okay, we're going to wrap this segment up now then, Monica, and we will be back by the miracles of science. It might even be another day, 24, a few hours might have elapsed in the meantime. But for now, Monica, can I just take this opportunity to say thank you very much for finding the time to hopefully put a few previews together over the next few months, heading out maybe into the other classics and the Kentucky Derby in May. It's very much appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you for including me. It's been a lot of fun. I'm glad to be back.
Jolly good. And now, hopefully, we will be back shortly with some winners for everybody. Take care, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you very much to Monica for finding the time to start these recordings. I will just play the Kentucky Derby from 2022 now. I do think that it was compromised in the last video with us having the camera open as well at the same time. So hopefully this race will play a lot better this time.
Goes back in. Ready for a start. And they're off in the Kentucky Derby. Good beginning, and Summer is Tomorrow takes it to him right off the mark. Straight to the front, and Crown Pride is showing speed too. And Messier is not far behind either. Taba toward the outside, past the Twin Spires for the first time. Summer is Tomorrow, setting the pace down inside, and Crown Pride is going to stalk the pace on the outside in second. Zozos comes on to be third. Messier with a great spot toward the rail in fourth. Cyberknife comes away in fifth. Taba's racing in sixth. Charge It in tight toward the rail while seventh. Epicenter comes out racing in eighth. Smile Happy is ninth. Pioneer of Medina on the outside in 10th. Zandon toward the inside 11th. Pratt is patient with him. And then it's White Abario racing in 12th. Classic Causeway far off the pace today in 13th. Tawny Port is 14th. Simplification is 15th by 3. Tis the Bomb is 16th. Rich Strike is 17th. Mo Donegal lingering near the back of the pack in 18th, followed by Barber Road. Happy Jack is the trailer. Down the backstretch run, a merciless pace. 45 and 1/5 seconds in the Kentucky Derby. Down the backstretch they go. Summer is Tomorrow, Crown Pride, and now Messier splits them and comes on through. Here's Messier now taking the lead for the far turn run. Crown Pride tries to go with Messier. Epicenter is on the move now. Epicenter's making progress as they round the far turn, and Cyberknife is there too. So too Smile Happy. Zandon is picking through the pack. Zandon is switched on, and here he comes. Charge It is there. White Barrio coming with a wide sweeping move. Taba's trying to find a way through, as is Tawny Port, as the field turns for home at Churchill Downs. Epicenter running for the roses. He turns for home in front by 3, but Zandon is digging in, and here comes Zandon now. Zandon's closing in quickly. Simplification is late on the scene. Tawny Port and Barber Road, final 16th of the Derby, and it's still Epicenter. Zandon surging, and here comes Rich Strike down toward the inside. It's a wild finish in the Kentucky Derby, and on the wire, Rich Strike does it! Wow! A shocker in the Kentucky Derby. Epicenter ran second. Zandon was third. It's tight for fourth. Simplification or Mo Donegal. It is Rich Strike at 80-1.
What we said there, truly incredible. The 2022 Kentucky Derby. What will the 2023 edition bring you? Well, stay tuned, because myself and Monica will be back to look at a couple of trials on the 1st of April, the Arkansas Derby and the Florida Derby. Thank you very much for supporting the channel, and take care. Hello, everybody, and welcome back by the miracles of science. We are back now, and we are going to take a look at some races, starting with the Group 1 Arkansas Derby. And we're going to join Monica McCarthy, who is back. It's always very difficult for me not to say Decatur, Illinois, force of habit. She is from Sherman, Illinois now, and I will remember to say that in the next recording. Monica, how are you today? You okay?
Doing fabulous. Fabulous.
Fantastic. Right, we're going to start with the Arkansas Derby. Is that right?
Yes.
On you go then.
Okay, Arkansas Derby. Like we all know, these prep race points are now bigger amount. 100 to first. Second place is 40 Derby points, 30 points, 20 points, and the last is the fifth place person or fifth place horse would get 10 points.
Okay.
So that's the big number one horse is Bourbon Bash. Owner is BC Stables. Dwayne Lucas is the trainer. This horse has had 9 starts.
It has. I noticed
had
that.
1 first, 3 seconds, and 1 third. So it's kind of the most experienced horse in the field as far as that goes on racing. It broke its maiden way back in Saratoga last summer. In a second start, it won, broke its maiden by 8 lengths. It is by City of Light, and as you remember, that's a Pegasus winner. City of Light. It's out of Buy, Sell, Hold by Violence. So the top side, City of Light and Violence are pretty good sires and had, good resumes. The third dam. The third dam, Lady Talk, is a Florida bred. She earned $160,782. She was a multiple graded stakes winner. As a 4-year-old, she won the ballerina handicapped at the Spa in Saratoga. Grade 1, she was second in the Acorn at Belmont. She ran a grade 1 at the Kentucky Oaks. Only got 6th in that race. Grade 1 Ashland Stakes in Lexington, she ran second. In the grade 2 at the Fairground Oaks. She had several speed records that were 100 and above. And I don't have this in my picks for the winning the race. What do you think about this horse?
Well, like you said, I mean, I might as well pack up and go home because you've virtually said everything that I had written down. So you might as well have just done this by yourself. Yeah, like you said, well beaten in Group 1 races at 2. And it was 5th in the Group 2 Rebel Stakes on its last start. I mean, like you said, they've obviously somewhere along the line think this is a good horse because they've always tried it at the highest level. You were right. It's from family 21A. I did notice that, the American Dam Lines, which we will have to go on about. I mean, a little bit when I get to one horse a bit later. The dam is actually related to a stallion that's at stud now called Volatile. I don't know if you've heard of that one. The dam is a full sister to that Group 1 winner and stallion Volatile. Yeah, so there is a horse at stud closely related to this Bourbon Bash already. It's also from the family of 1959 Kentucky Oaks winner Hidden Talent. And there's some of our European horses in there as well that are Master Craftsman and Saki. I think the horse probably won us a bit further. You class it as more of a Belmont horse than this, maybe. But like you said, the form of it leaves a lot to be desired, really. But it's a well-bred horse, isn't it? It's got a couple of Group 1 winning dams in there, like you said. The third dam, a dual Group 1 winner. That's all I bothered writing down. So you expanded on that nicely. But yeah, it's like I said, I think they'll be disappointed at this horse. And tried it 9 times, and If it was to run up to its best and get involved, you couldn't be surprised because it's got the pedigree to do it, hasn't it? Number two,
definitely has the pedigree.
Number two, I can't really have Interlock Empire. I mean, that's that I've got written down. It's run 1 out of 4 races. It's never raced at pattern level. I couldn't see any form there at all. It's from family 23B, and I had to go back to the 5th dam of the horse before I could find a Group 2 winner. And if people go further back than that, it is actually from the family of 2012 Kentucky Derby and Preakness winner called I'll Have Another. I don't remember that horse, but it's not one for me, that one, Monica. What about you, Interlock Empire? You got anything to add on that?
Yeah, I just, like you were talking about the 5th dam, had to go pretty far out to look at anything. He's by Classic Empire out of Curlabella by Curlin. So the top side is got some good breeding. Got a good resume on the top side, but a little bit weaker on the dam side. But there are some good, pedigree there too. Broke his maiden on the 4th start just 3 weeks ago. That's kind of interesting.
Straight into 100-point race. I mean, I think it's got plenty to find, this one.
Right. He rallied from 10th place and drew off to win by 5 lengths, going just a mile, mind you, at odds of 17-1. Has no Derby points, so he's got to step up if he's, wanting to stay in contention.
Not for me, this one.
Yeah.
What about number 3? What about number 3, Harlow Cap, Monica? You got any views on that one?
Yeah, let's see. Harlow Cap is trained by Steve Asmussen. Owner is Harlow Stables and Villa Rosa Farms. This is one of these that began his career in California with Bob Baffert. He's by Justify, out of Mazinka by Bodemeister. The 2nd dam is Star of Goshen, was a stakes winner, grade 2 stakes winner in listed races. Earned $146,000. And I did like the 4th dam, Her Native Way. It was a Kentucky bred in 1973. But it almost seemed they really over-raced this mare. It had 42 starts.
Yeah, back in the day, they used to race quite a lot, didn't they?
Yes. And I did like the sire Native Dancer, of course. That's a very well-known horse. And I mean, Native Dancer was a multiple graded stakes winner, of clearing out 785,000 plus. Yeah, so I mean, I like that part of it. But I'd like to see, 4 starts and only 1 first and 2 seconds, and I don't know. Justify is the sire. What do you think?
6th in the Group 2 Risen Star Stakes last start, and to me, I think the form of it again is just not there, is it? That you'd expect in a race like this. It's just not quite there at this stage. The dam, like you said, Star of Goshen, more famously, the dam of Pioneer of the Nile. So Star of Goshen is also the dam of Pioneer of the Nile. Good stallion. Star Stallion of American Pharaoh, among others. And I could find a distant Preakness winner in the pedigree, 1983 Preakness winner, Deputed Testimony. Yeah, it didn't sound right to me, but that is how the horses spout. That to me, I just couldn't have it on the form. But there's a lot of horses in between Pyre of the Nile and that one. There's not And the next one. The next one, I had to really struggle to find anything. 2 Eagles River, 2 out of 5. Black type placed already, but this is a Group 1 race. It lost a claimer on its last start. It's from family 8F. And if people were to go back far enough, they'll have to go back to find some good horses such as Birdstone and Bird Town, and 1929, we're going back nearly a century, Belmont winner, and 3-year-old of the year, Blue Larkspur. I mean, they're probably famous horses, they are. They're all classic winners back in the day. But to me, I'd have to pass on that one. What about you, Monica?
Yeah, I'm looking to pass on this one too. And there you go again. It also has no Derby points. There's several of these in this race that everybody's going to have to step up if they're going to go to Kentucky on the first Saturday of May. I did look at its workouts. It's had some good workouts in the month of March. It had a bullet workout on March 14th. It ran 5 furlongs at 59 seconds. 1 out of 17 horses that raced or worked out that same day at that same 5 furlongs. And then on March 7th, it ran 4 furlongs at 47 seconds, and it was number 2 out of 58 horses. So about the only thing positive I can kind of say about this horse, it's working out well, which is a good thing, but that doesn't always mean anything either.
You don't know the level of the other 56, do you?
No.
They all could be average horses. The next one,
right,
Airtime, is I think it's quite an interesting horse. This one, it's won 3 out of its 5 races. It's got a fair strike rate, but again, it's never raced at pattern level. So what I'm looking for really is it capable of stepping up into pattern level at the first time of asking, really? And I don't know. I can make a case that this one might be able to do it. It's from a good family, 9B, quite closely related to a lot of good Coolmore horses. Saffron Walden won the Irish 2000 Guineas in the 80s, related to Irish Derby winner Magician. Henry the Navigator as well. Quite distant relatives though of them, but this line is one that does throw good horses. 9B, you get some good ones on it, so it wouldn't surprise me if this one was a decent horse. I did find a stallion that's already at stud quite closely related to it. It won the Don Handicap, whatever sort of a race that is, a Group 1, called Gradar. That's a so that's a stallion that's quite closely related to this horse as well, Airtime. I mean, that to me, it could be one that could be underestimated. Obviously, it's got no form at all. But it's one that, if it was to finish third or fourth in a Group 1, and its first time in pattern company, you'd have to say it's run a good race. And I think I think there's enough in the pedigree of this one that might makes it a contender, I think. What about you with this one? What do you make of it?
Yeah. Yes, I agree too. On Airtime, I like the price, 15 to 1. That would be good if you could put that in underneath somebody, or maybe bet to win. I couldn't really find anything on the dam side of this horse, but the sire side is good with.
You have to go quite a way back to find it. I think.
Right.
I think the key horse is this. I should really start writing down the key horses. I think he's called Summer Evening. I might be wrong. Let me have a look at Henry the Navigator and horses like that, because it's I had to go back a fair way to find it on that line. There's other horses I've identified at 2 and 3. It's a lot closer to Henry the Navigator. I can like Brigid is one, Brigid. That's foaled in 1976. I had to go further back to that. Brigid is the dam of Sequoia, and Sequoia is the dam of Henry the Navigator. Now, Sunday Evening, that's the one, foaled in 1947. And if you go back on this horse, then you get horses like Prayer Bell and our dam of our horses. Prayer, something different to that. It just branches off a bit. But yeah, I had to go back to the 1940s to get on where I needed to be on it. It took me quite a while to find it, on here. But I did find it eventually. So yeah, I can see. That's what I said. It's very distantly related to some nice horses. Turf horses, though, again. But I do remember them. They had a turn of foot. Magician was good. Had a good turn of foot over a mile and a half. Coolmore horse won the Irish Derby. And Saffron Walden, I don't remember, to be honest. Henry the Navigator, obviously, remember him. But it's a horse I couldn't rule out until I'd seen it run a couple of times and seen it maybe run on the turf, as well. I think it's a nice horse. It could be a nice horse. It's not proved to me like some of the others that we were going to look at over these two races. It's not proved to me that it's not a pattern horse. You look at the form, Look at the form of it. There's nothing to indicate that it's not a pattern horse. It's not been beaten in any pattern races. Yeah? So it could be, couldn't it? Until it's one of them ones that I'd have to be until proven otherwise sort of horse. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
It finishes 4 4 5th today, 4 4 5th in here, and they drop it down into a Group 3 and it was to win. I wouldn't be surprised. Whether it's a classic horse or not at this stage, like you say. It's got a lot of work to do in it. But, I could not rule this horse out being decent at some stage. Definitely not. The next one, Angel of Empire, I think is a totally different horse altogether. I think they've trained this one really well, campaigned it really well. But they're obviously getting the most out of it that they can. It's won 3 out of 5 races. It won the Group 2 Risen Star Stakes last time out. So it's a proven group quality horse. But when I looked at it the other week, there wasn't enough in the pedigree of me to move forward with the horse regarding the Derby. I didn't see it as a Derby winner. It's from family number 26. And I did notice, though, that it's from the family of Tisnow and Oxbow. Oxbow, I think, won the Preakness or the Belmont. Can't remember which one he won now. But yeah, so there is stallions quite closely related to it on the dam side, and it's probably what I remember of it. The best of line 26 is about where this horse is. But to me, I watched it in the Risen Star, and to me, I think the horse is what it is. I'm wary of this horse really because it reminds me of a lot of other horses I've followed in America the last 3 or 4 years that have just proven to be not quite good enough. Horses like Subjectivist and Max Player. Who nearly had a fatal fall in his last race, apparently. I hope the old boy's all right. But, yeah, I did read something about it. But to me, I think the horse, it's a horse what I'd be disappointed in, the crop overall, if this was to be in the top 5 or 6. But there's no disputing that it's a solid horse. Look at the form of it. I mean, what do you make of the horse, Monica?
It's trained by Brad Cox, so I feel like it's got some good training in it.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah. It has the morning line on this one is 9-2, and it already has 54 Derby points, so it really doesn't need the points like some of these that have no Derby points. I like the horse just because of Brad Cox. I mean, he always does an excellent job. He seems and wins a lot of races for people, but I'm just kind of on the, it's not like.
I just think that there's not enough star quality in the horse. If it proves to be the next Tisnow and I'm wrong, then fair play. I'll hold my hands up, and maybe chance a few more from that partner in the future. But as it stands now, I just have to sort of leave it. I think at this stage, look, it's had 5 runs. If it had 3 runs and won 2 of them, maybe. Rocket Can, the next one. I don't know about this one. This is an interesting one. This is the interesting one, Monica. So here I have to bang on about dam lines, I'm afraid, because I'm sure you might find it interesting, but it is very relevant. So what I'll do is I will switch to the bloodline site that I use for a moment, because this horse here that we're looking at here, Rocket Can, is actually the only horse that we are looking at in these two races to actually descend from a non-European dam line. It's actually from an American dam line originally. And the best way I can describe that really is just sort of that they explain it. There's like 70 odd, and then there's a section for American families. American families lists the taproot mares of North America from A1 to A90. These are all 17th and 18th century American foundation racing mares, yeah, basically. And this is the only one horse out of the 23 we're going to look at that is actually descendant from an American line and not a European line. It's actually on number A5. It's on. If people want to look at these things more, and you will see that there is hardly any what I would consider like history on them at all, because they all seem to be from American, European descent. One of them I actually found was Impervious. Yeah, Impervious is an American bred. And that one, yeah,
really?
So, that won the Mayor's Chase at Cheltenham. Won the Mayor's Chase at the Cheltenham Festival not so long ago. So I'm not saying these horses aren't as good as the European dam mares, but I do think that I find it interesting when I find an American one. So my default position on them really is just to rule them out until proven otherwise. But this one here is actually quite a well-bred one, isn't it? You probably noticed the second dam won 2 Group 1 races. The dam is a half-sister to a sire that used to be a sire called Tis Midnight, a Group 1 placed Group 2 winner. The form of it is good as well. It obviously got put well in its place by Forte on its last start. But it won the Group 3 Holy Bull Stakes before that. I mean, not a bad horse, is it?
No, not at all. It had 6 starts, 2 first and 2 seconds. That's not bad. It won its maiden on a sloppy track at Churchill Downs. So that, if the slop's going to be an issue, either in Kentucky or in Florida, that won't be an issue. It did lose the Rebel at Oaklawn to Confidence Game. It won the Holy Bull, and it got second in the Fountain of Youth, just behind Forte.
Well, of course, it wasn't just behind it. It was a long way behind it. But yeah, it won well. It ran a decent enough race. It beat the rest of them. Forte's not in this race, is it?
No. Its odds are 4-1. It has 40 Derby points, so it's had some good races.
I agree.
It may be top choice as far as any of these horses in the Arkansas Derby. We'll have to see.
We've got a couple more to
when
look
it all
at.
plays out.
We've got a couple more to look at, but like you said, it's a definite contender. Reincarnate. You have to put that in the contenders list as well. I think it's one, in my opinion, it's one 2 out of 6 races. Yeah. That was another one, like you said, that ran in the Rebel Stakes last start, where it was placed. And then it's another one, similar to the horse we've just talked about. It's going the right way. Group 3, Group 2, Group 1. It's doing things properly. It won the Group 3 Sham Stakes before that, which is I think you get 10 or 20 points for that. It's from the family 7E. And this is actually closely related to one that runs in the early race as well, which was handy for me, because it was just a nice simple copy and paste. 7E, this one is from, European 7E. Anyone that begins with an A is an American. There's also colonial families on that site as well, Monica. They're not all European and American. There's a whole site dedicated to colonial families as well. List the taproot mares of Australia and New Zealand. There's plenty of them kicking about. You've got half-bred families, whatever they are, whose foundation mares were not recorded in the general stud book. Well, they could be anything, couldn't they? Other families list the taproot mares of Argentina, Poland, and Uruguay. There's not many horses running around in the 17th century that I'm not looking at. It really is. It really is a truly incredible sight, that is. This one is 7E. The sixth dam of it is called Belle Kane, and she won the New Zealand Oaks. I had to go back a fair way again for this one. And it's from the family of the 1959 Preakness winner, Royal Orbit. Don't remember that one, obviously. And 1998 Irish champion sprinter. What I do remember, Big Shuffle. A fast horse he was. He used to fly down the track. But this one here is a sire in Germany, it was. This one here, I don't know. It's another intriguing horse, I think, this one. Well, one that I'm looking forward to seeing run, Monica. What do you make of it?
I definitely would put it in the short list of possible win contender. Thank you for that that pedigree information. That's really interesting. And I think it was third in the Rebel, but in the Rebel it broke poorly and it had to check itself later in the race, but it ended up third in the Rebel. It's another one of these big group of horses that had to be moved from Bob Baffert's barn to other trainers. Johnny Velasquez will be riding this horse. That's a plus. It did win. Speaking of the Sham Stakes, it did win the Sham Stakes, but it was ineligible for any Derby points.
Oh, maybe it ran with Lasix then or something. Or is it?
It must have either ran with Lasix.
Is it gelding, Monica?
I don't have that information.
Would that make it ineligible?
I didn't notice it was a gelding, but
Derby's are allowed to run in the gelding, though, are they? Why else would it be ineligible?
Right.
Maybe just because it was trained by Bob Baffert. I don't know. Oh, so this one really then, if it wins this race, is it going to be ineligible again then? Yeah. Of course it is.
No.
Okay.
Because it has Tim Yaktine is the
Tim
the current trainer, so it's like all these.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Baffert had a big group of horses that had to go elsewhere, just like last year. Tim Yaktine inherited a lot of Bob Baffert's horses. Yeah. Now it has 15. It does have to its name 15 Derby points.
Yeah, that must have been for getting placed.
And the morning line on this one is the morning line is 5-2.
Yeah, I mean
it's got potential.
A cynic would say that Bob Baffert still trains them and old Yaktine just puts his name on the licence, Monica. That's what a cynic in England would say, just to get around the drugs rules. I mean, what do you make of that?
Yeah, that's obviously what's going on.
So people in America think that too, yeah?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
And then and like you said before, if you're a fan of Bob Baffert, then, the appealing of, certain judgments have come down on him and whatnot, but this year he still can't go to the Derby as a trainer.
Okay.
So
the next horse, King Russell. I mean, this is another one really that rather like one you spotted earlier. It's only just won its maiden, and that was on its 5th start. So it's again straight from maiden to a Group 1. It's from family 3i, which to me I couldn't really find much on this one really. Although the dam I did know, the dam of it is a full sister to a horse that won the 2012 Kentucky Oaks, called Believe You Can. I think this horse is called Believe You Will or something, the dam of this one, called something like that. very similar. And I did notice that it's a line that the Argentinians have done very well on. You know, the Argentinians, you will find no shrewder breeder of a horse in the world than an Argentinian. I've always said that. You know, I've been backed up with horses like Blue Prize time and time again, really. And they've Farm and Fatley both won Argentinian classics in the 60s and 70s. So they've had a go on it. So to me, though, I can't have this one, Monica. What about you?
I'm in the same boat as you, and I also think the Argentinian horses have some sort of mystic magic or something down there that goes on. They do really well with some of their horses that, you know, that are come up to America to race as well. No Derby points. This is the first stakes race this horse has been entered in. That says a big N-O. No.
Absolutely.
That's mine.
The next one. The next one to me, I think is a fascinating contender. Red Route 1. At first glance, the form of it, where it's raced 7 times and won once, you would think, we'll leave that one alone. But it's always been tried at a very high level. This is a pattern quality horse. Group 1 placed 2-year-old. Also placed, and you watched that run last time out, a truly remarkable run in the Group 2 Rebel Stakes. I don't know if you've watched it yet. Absolutely incredible run. It must have been tailed off at the halfway stage. And it lost by about half a length. Flying home like an absolute steamroller. The last 5 starts have all been in pattern company, and only once has it finished worse than 4th. You know, there's no guarantees in horse racing, but this horse is as close as you're going to get to a horse guaranteed to run pretty well in this race. That's what you're looking for, really, I think. The dam of it, the line of it, 8D, you're going to love this horse, but I don't know if you've noticed this. The dam of it is a full sister, to the 2014 Eclipse Award champion filly, Untappable. And that's a 5-time Group 1 winner in total. And I'm going to put you on screen here because I want to see your reaction to this. And she is also a half sister to Padio Prado. You see, I know so Padio Prado and Untappable are actually half brother and half sister. So your Padio Prado, well-bred horse, Monica.
Yes.
So this horse here, I did want to say, I knew you'd enjoy that bit. The second dam as well, Funhouse. She is a Group 2 winner as well. And she is also a half-sister to a Group 2 winning stallion, Early Flyer. I couldn't really find much about that one. One horse I did find about this horse was a very unlucky horse. It won. I remember it winning at the Breeders' Cup, and I thought, wonder what happened to the horse. And so I looked at it, and I found that after it won the Breeders' Cup, it was due to it had been sold to stand in Japan as a stallion, and it unfortunately broke down on its way to the van to go to the airport and had to be euthanized. The horse was called Tapizar. It won at the Breeders' Cup not so long ago, about 2012, I think. And when I went further back, I actually noticed that although this horse is on E8D, it is very closely related. If people were to go back to far enough of 1878 to the foundation mare of line 8H, who was called Atalanta. And Atalanta was deemed such a good mare that they branched off 8D and gave her a line of her own, 8H, because she was that good. So this to me is a horse that's proved it belongs at this level without any shadow of a doubt. I like the horse. What do you make of it, Monica?
Well, I especially like the horse now that you mentioned Padio Prado, of course. But I like this horse too. I think it's a contender to win. I noticed, his sire is Gun Runner. Who doesn't like Gun Runner?
A very well-bred stallion. You are correct.
And then it's out of the Red House that you had mentioned, and that's by Tappet. So, I mean, it's got some good breeding. It also has 33 Derby points. So, it's the morning line on this one is 3-1, which I think is pretty fair. and it's going to be running with blinkers on.
Oh yeah.
So and and like you said, it's only 2 seconds and 1/3, but I mean, I think it's a good horse. I think it's a good win contender. It's almost won $500,000, $500,000 already at this juncture, and it's been working out pretty good too. So that was a plus. I always look at workouts. I don't know why, but it's just one of my little things I do in my handicapping. But yeah, I think it's a good contender.
Oh, without any shadow of a doubt. Oh, I was wrong about Tapizar. I've just looked on Equibase. He has got some leading progeny in America, so he must have sired a couple of crops in America before they sold him to Japan. Won 6 out of 14 races, 972,000 by Tappet out of a winning call. And yeah, it won the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile of 2012 on its last start, and then it was job done. It also won the Sham Stakes at 3 as well. So very good, very interesting horse, I think, this one. One of the more interesting ones in the race. Colomeo, the last horse of the race. Well, 1 out of 6. It's been well beaten in a Group 3 2 starts ago, and it was third in a claimer on its last start. From family 4R, one of the more exotic ones. I don't think I've ever looked at that one. From the family of 1959 champion Older Mile mare Tempted, as well as a couple of European classic winners. 1992 French Derby winner Polytane. That to me just sounds like a Wertheimer horse. I don't know if it was. And 1999 UK 1,000 Guineas winner Wince. I mean, that to me, I will say that on this pedigree 4R, this horse here, Colomeo, is on about the best section of that line I can see. But you've just got to look at the form of it, Colomeo, I think, to think that it's not running up to this level at all, is it?
No, it really isn't. It's morning line's 30-1. It has no Derby points at this time. So it's another one that's really just going to have to step up. It's a New York bred by Constitution. It's owned by Big Chief Racing. And Jimmy Graham is the jockey. But I don't know if Jimmy can pull this one out or
sounds
not.
Sounds to me like they'll have a great day, whatever happens, Big Chief Racing. Best of luck to them.
Yeah, Big Chief Racing, yes.
Big Chief Racing, 1 out of 6. I mean, we'll give our selections later, Monica, I think. We'll come back and give some selections for both races. So what we'll do now is I think we've both earned a break there. So we'll pause the recording now. And then by the miracles of science, we will be back to preview the Florida Derby. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. By the miracles of science, it's getting on now. Time is getting on, but we're still hard at it. And it's going to be time now for myself and Monica McCarthy to take a look at the Florida Derby. All the way from Sherman, Illinois, Monica McCarthy should be on the messenger now. Monica, are you there? Yes, you are. Perfect.
Yes.
So, Monica, I mean, Florida Derby, what do you make of this year's race?
Well, we're at a $1 million purse down in Gulfstream Park, and I'm weighing on one particular horse in this race, and it sort of outclasses the rest of the horses, but somebody's got to place and show.
Yeah, I mean, we've got to talk about them all, though. Really, we'll just skip through some of them quite quickly because, like you said, there's a clear form pick in this race, and I think it's a clear pedigree pick as well. We'll start with number 1, Jungfrau. That's won 1 out of 4 races, and that really, to me, as one that has been disappointed connections. It must have. plenty to find on form. It's actually quite a well-bred horse. 23B is the family line. The second dam of the horse actually won the English and the Irish Guineas, called Special Duty, the dual 1,000 Guineas winner. And it's also a descendant of a brilliant horse that was raced in America in the mid-70s called Chris Evert. I don't know if you've heard of that one. It was the champion 3-year-old filly of 1974. But there'll be a current theme with these, a lot of these with me. The horse is just massively underachieved on form. I just can't have it because of the form, Monica.
It shows that it ran the Withers, a G3, grade 3 race, and it disqualified, or not disqualified. It ran 6th and was very rank in that race. And then it ran a maiden stakes race, and it won the race, but then it was disqualified. So
there you go. You see, I mean, to me, it just hasn't got the form to be involved in the race. The second one, West Coast Cowboy, that is the one that I was on about. That was actually closely related to the horse that ran in the last race. That's one out of 3 races, and the form of this one is a little bit better. It was placed in the Group 3 Holy Bull Stakes, which gives it a fair bit to find, really. This one is, whereas the 6th dam of the last horse was the New Zealand Oaks winner of 1940, Bell Cane. Bell Cane is actually the 8th dam of this horse, West Coast Cowboy. So very closely related to the other horse that we talked about earlier. From the family of, as we know, of 1959 Preakness winner Royal Orbit and 1998 Irish champion sprinter Big Shuffle. I mean, there's no escaping the fact that Forte, the champion 2-year-old, is in this race. And so you have to take a look at the form of it, West Coast Cowboy. And how can anybody think that this form is good enough in this race compared to some of the others, Forte? You know, I mean, I can't have it, Monica. I don't know what you think.
I'm on the same lines with you. It might be a possible long shot if somebody's wanting a long shot for the race. It's 20-1. It only has 6 Derby points. It's by West Coast, which that's a Gary and Mary West horse that almost won $6 million. But
very well bred, if I remember. Yeah, I can't remember.
Pardon?
They're the ones that owned War of Will, aren't they?
Yeah. Maximum Securities owner.
Yeah, did they own War of Will as well?
Did they have what?
War of Will as well.
Could have.
Yeah.
They have several. They have several horses in their barn. You know, every year. Some really quality.
I might be
quality wrong. Horses. But yeah, that was, they own Maximum Security. It's one on it broke its maiden on. Yeah.
New Year's Day or something. Good 2-year-old they had, didn't they?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, same people.
The jockey for this horse, West Coast Cowboy, is Sonny Leon. That's who rode the Kentucky Derby winner last year. You can take that, you know.
What a day that was. What a day that was for him. Absolutely incredible. It looked to me, while I was watching that race, it looked to me he was just hanging on to the horse thinking, shit, all I've got to do is sit on this and I've won. You know, what the jockey's input was there, I don't know. The horse just took him there, didn't it? But to me,
yes. And I noticed too, also on that horse that won the Derby, it had number 21. You know, because it was a late entry, and so they couldn't give it a 20. It was in the 20 slot, but it was number 21.
Yes,
I thought that was cute. But Yeah. It has some decent first and second dam are pretty decent dams, stakes winners and whatnot. I noticed the first dam is Coco Sweetie, and she was by 10 pins, and it was owned by the Tea Party staple. I thought that was interesting, just on a side note. But
Excellent.
But you could use this underneath and make it a long shot or something, perhaps.
It's that sort of race, isn't it? I don't necessarily play like that. I just like to pick the winner.
Right.
It normally does me.
Right. But some people like to dabble in the exotics. So.
Exactly. Yeah. I just can't.
But that's about all I have on West Coast Cowboy.
I couldn't recommend. Not a lot there for me. The next one.
No, not really.
The next one, Shaq Diesel, is already been round 8 times. One of 2 in this race to have gone round 8 times already. This horse has won 3 times. And the form of it again, I mean, I think when they got this horse and they hadn't raced it, I bet they thought they had a horse, Monica. I mean, this horse, to me, I think has disappointed connections. It must have done. The 4th dam of it, if people look at the 4th dam of it, the 4th dam is Weekend Surprise. And that, to me, that is one of the best bred American horses. The dam of AP Indy, and also the dam of Lemon Drop Kid, Duke of Marmalade, and more recently Tonalist, who won the Belmont, is also on the Weekend Surprise line. But so to me, there's a horse in there somewhere, but they've not found it yet, have they? On form, they've tried 8 times, and I don't know. The horse is bred to be a lot better than what it is. I think it's been disappointing for connections. Not that I know them, but what do you think of the horse?
Yeah, it shows it ran 10th in the Risen Star. It did show that the blinkers were going to go off the first time on this one. I don't know what that's about, but
yeah, it's just got to remember somewhere that it's bred to be a horse. His great grandmother,
right,
is one of the best grandmothers of Australian race, best mares of American racing. But it's just not showing anything really of that level. It's a sort of horse, I think, that if they persevered with it and raced it till it was 7 or 8, eventually it probably would get good.
Right, exactly.
Because it is well-bred horse.
Yeah.
But
I think it's a toss. I'm not.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not interested in that.
I like the pedigree of it. Weekend Surprise. I mean, you can't. I've learned that. I've learned that.
That's exceptional.
In this defence, this one is probably the worst I've seen for a long time off that line. You don't get many off this line anymore in this country anymore. You get not very many. There's Raging Seas on this line as well, I think. The filly that I'm looking at is out of Weekend Surprise. But since Duke of Marmalade, we had that one over here. AP Indy, he was a brilliant sire in America, Monica, but he never sired that many over here. Lemon Drop Kid sired a few. Tonalist, well, I bet you wouldn't see 20 in a season race in England. Whereas America, you probably see 150. Even Duke of Marmalade sold him in the end to South Africa to go stallion in there. But yeah, it's got to be what the Americans call a toss, really, which is a shame because it's a well-bred horse. The next one, Mage. It's probably quite hard to weigh up. It won its maiden first time out on its debut, and then they decided to race behind Forte last time, and it was 4th. I mean, to me, it's got to be interesting because it's one of the lightly raced ones. It's from family 5G, and I did notice it was quite closely related to 2005 Preakness and Belmont winner Athlete Alex. And 1995 French 2000 Guineas winner Vittori. Two good stallions there. So, to me, on his 3rd start, this horse is bound to improve, I think. I can't see how against some of these that this horse is not going to be in the first 3, Monica. Can you?
I'm skeptical of that. He's ran a couple races. Fourth in the Fountain of Youth at this
beaten
similar
fourth.
speed as what his maiden was. He has been always been using Lasix on this one, so this time there's no Lasix for this horse.
That's
so
interesting.
It might be a little iffy,
could go either way, couldn't it?
Yeah, it could go either way on this horse. Might be another long shot for people that play long shots.
Like we touched about off recording earlier, third start of a horse is very, very important.
Mm-hmm.
And if these people have played it right, if these people have got this horse right on its third start, I think there's enough in its pedigree to think that it could run in the first three against these lot. I really do. But yeah, I can see why you're not strong. I can see why you're not as strong on the horse as I am. That's what horse racing's about, opinions, isn't it?
Right. And then the jockey's Luis Saez, so that's
great.
That could be a plus for the horse too. I don't know.
Yeah, it's got an 8-stone penalty then, having to carry Luis Saez round.
Maximum security.
That's harsh. That's harsh. Lewis, if you're watching, you're a brilliant jockey. Don't forget to follow us on Twitch. But Vittori was a good horse, but a good national hunt sire. I think this one will get 1.5 miles, Monica. I think it would be about more of a Belmont contender, maybe.
And Fleet Alex was a good horse too.
Yeah, well, apparently so. Yes, I can't remember it, but it apparently won a few races and was a good stallion as well. Yeah, apparently so. It was won 2 classics. So the next one, well, Mr. Peaks. This was probably the one I had to look for the hardest to write anything down. It's not won a race. It's raced twice, not one. It's from family 8C. That's all I could find out. And I found the US champion 2-year-old epitome of 1987. I couldn't find anything else. This is a pass. And the next one as well, I'll touch on quickly before I bring you back in. Nautical Star. Again, 1 out of 2. Never raced at pattern level. I've just passed on that one. Family 13E. And I couldn't find anything. What about you with them two, Monica? Anything?
Number 5, Mr. Peaks. Like you said, is still a maiden. Very lightly raced. With the fractions, the early fractions on this horse, it could influence the pace of the race if it gets up in there. 30-1, no Derby points. The only thing I really liked about this horse, it was by California Chrome.
Yeah, I noticed that, yeah. It signed a few, but not as many as people would have hoped, I think.
Right. Number 6, Nautical Star, is an Oklahoma bred, which was, and I noticed both 5 and 6 are trainers, the Safi Joseph Jr. It's by Dixie Chatter, which was a decent horse. Its Grandshire was deputy minister, which is a very well known.
Now that was a good stallion.
Yeah, and then it was by Dixie Union.
Wow.
I like the out of Kiss Me Chocolate by Evansville Slough. Evansville Slough was a horse in '92 that did fairly decent. Its workouts have been fairly decent. 30-1, 0 Derby points. On March 18th, it ran 4 furlongs for 48 seconds and some change. It was the 13th horse out of 134, so that's pretty decent. But other than that, I mean, there's no form here. I don't know what to do with it, to be honest.
Yeah, a bit like the next one, Il Miracolo, 1 out of 8. But that's been racing in group races, but it's finished no better than 5th in 3 group races. You know, what can you say? It's from family number 26. And it's from the family. I had to go back. This one took some finding as well. From the family of 1962 Ascot Gold Cup winner Balto. It's also won the 1961 GP de Paris winner, and it was a sire in Russia after that. I mean, I can't have that horse, Monica. What about you?
I'm on the same thought of that too. It's by Gun Runner. They are putting blinkers on this horse for this race. The first 4 races it ran were not competitive at all. It did not race competitively at all. And 2 of those races were Derby Trail races. The best race, it ran a distant 5th in the Holy Bull. Blinkers on. It's a toss. I don't support this horse at all.
It's one of them. If this horse was to win this race, I think people would be tempted to throw their form book out the window. I think Mr. Ripple has won 1 out of 3 races. Beaten in 2 claimers on his last 2 starts. Don't like beating horses being beaten in claimers. It's from family 1L. There'd be worse bred horses than this going round though. But it's from the family of 1962 Preakness winner Greek Money. And if people go further back, it's actually related to It's actually related to Shirley Heights, a dual 1978 Irish and UK Derby winner, and champion Great Britain older horse Pentire that won the King George and the Champion Stakes. It is in there, on turf maybe. And I had to go fair way back to find it, but on form, you'd be struggling with it, wouldn't you? What do you make of this one?
Yeah, same thing, Mr. Ripple, number 8. Its debut race, it did win over number 7, Miracolo.
Right, beat that, did it?
Yeah.
Oh no, I've not included that race in the form video. Oh no. If you watch the race in reverse, you might have the first and second off that line. Yeah, let's move on. Cyclone Mischief. Yeah. I noticed this one was a front runner last time out against Forte as well. 2 out of 6 it's won. It was 3rd behind Forte on its last start, but it was leading, making the run in. Before that though, it was looking as though it was well exposed. It was one that I thought, where's the pedigree to show where it's done that? And I just couldn't find anything. 9B it's on. So I'll pass on this one. What about you, Monica?
Same here. Number 9, Cyclone Mischief. It's by a pretty good sire that Into Mischief. It had a strong form early on in its debut, but then as a 3-year-old, but it was not a factor at all in the Holy Bull. It was sent to the lead in the Fountain of Youth. Then it weakened and finished 3rd behind Forte and Rocket Can. So it's got 15 Derby points at 8-1, but I'm not interested.
Me neither. Fort Bragg, 1 out of 5. I mean, this one proved it could go at this level maybe because it was Group 2 placed 2 starts ago. And then it seemed to have took a step back or ran in a stronger race because it could only finish 5th on a Group 2 when maybe on its 5th start they might have upped it up a level rather than ran it in a Group 2 again after it had been placed in one. They might have made a mistake there. Group 2 5th on its last start. It's from Family 4F, and I was looking for something in here because it had the profile that I would have liked. And I had to go back to 1892 and find the UK 2000 Guineas winner called Bonavista. I've just wrote that was a long time ago. That was 1892. I mean, so I'm afraid I'm going to have to pass on it, Monica. What about you?
Same here at Fort Bragg. He's morning line is 5-1. He's got 5 Derby points. This is another one of those that were in the group of Bob Baffert horses that Tim Yakteen has now. Joel Rosario is going to be the jockey. He did beat Reincarnate as a 2-year-old, but he just needs to improve a whole heck of a lot to be just have to pass on that one.
The obscure form lines coming out of Sherman, Illinois tonight. That's what we love. That's what we love. The next horse. But what I thought about this horse, Monica, was in the context of this race, being placed in a Group 2 is arguably some of the best form there is. So that's why I couldn't rule it out against these. But like I said, as soon as I looked at the pedigree of it, and I had to go back to 1892, that was the final nail in the coffin. If I could have found something a bit more up to date than that, then I might have said it was a good chance for a place. But no. Right, we've got to move on to Forte now, I think, Monica. I think the best horse in the race by far on everything, on all known evidence. He's won 5 out of 6 races, a triple Group 1 winning 2-year-old, and a Group 2 winner on his first start at 3. And he had 3 or 4 of these behind him that day as well. So he's a lot of them are either coming back for more, or he's been very shrewdly placed by his connections. This one here, I'm just going to have to go back onto the website again quickly and give everyone a quick glance at this pedigree line as well, because those that found that the last update interesting will definitely find this interesting. It's very interesting indeed, actually. If I can get it to actually come up on the screen. There it is. This one here, because this horse here, Forte, is on the most recent legacy line, if that makes any sense, number 1X.
Oh, wow.
And this line actually did not start until 1926. So this one is less than 100 years old. So it's quite easy to remember quite a few of these. And it is one of the best ones, obviously, because you've got La Troyenne. There's a race in America called the La Troyenne Stakes, isn't there? Well, La Troyenne is the foundation mare of line 1X. That is why that race is called what it is. La Troyenne is a very influential mare of horse racing breeding. And this horse here, Forte, you have to look as far as like Basie. I think the third Dan Basie was a Group 1 winner as well. But the thing that got me ahead of this horse before I'd even seen it in a group race was how closely related it was to horses that had dominated classics recently. And I thought this one, I was hoping could be up for more of the same. It's actually very closely related to the Godolphin horse that was going around in classics the other year called Essential Quality. I think that won a classic in the end, and it was placed in a couple of others, and it ran some very good races in outside of Classic Company as well. Against older horses, it was decent as well in the second half of the American season. And it's also very closely related to Contrail, which was the Japanese horse of the year a couple of years back. So you've got horses that have dominated Japanese. Contrail will also go a bit of a pantomime villain for me, because I identified a horse called Salios in Japan. And Contrail beat it in all 3 classics. Because Salios was second in the first 2, and then he gave up by the third one, I think, and was finished about 5th or 6th. But he was a Japanese mega horse, Contrail. And I've just written, he looks head and shoulders over these Forte on pedigree, on form. I think, is it the Kentucky Derby favourite at this stage? You can't be far off. I mean, what do you think of the horse, Monica? Got anything to add to that?
They've got him set at 4-5. He's got 90 Derby points. Todd Pletcher's his trainer, and one of your favorite jockeys, Irad Ortiz Jr., is his jockey. He's earned to date $1,833,000 and $1,833,230. Like he's won 5 races. He's a winner. He's got form. He kind of outclasses all the other entries in this race. He's a multiple Grade 1 winner. I don't think Forte has any. threats here.
Well, you can never rule out anything in horse racing. I hope he wins without any shadow of doubt. I did a site called Classic Watch 2023, and I made him my number one overall selections to win a classic in the world. I was that confident that he'd win one. Contrail won 3. I think Essential Quality won 1 and was placed in 2. I mean, this is a champion 2-year-old. If anything, I thought the Fountain of Youth was his most impressive run. I mean, he absolutely annihilated that lot. And I think if it goes off 4 to 5, that'd be ridiculous. About 1 to 8, But you never know. That horse, it just looks bomb-proof in this race, and it'll be interesting to see how the horse gets on. Hopefully, it's booked its place in the Kentucky Derby. It's probably got enough points to get a run. And I mean, we both think it sets a very hard bar to reach in this race. The last one we're going to touch on, though, is WW. I don't know how you say this. W Nell or something. I'm going to side with. This one here has raced 4 times and won twice, but this one here has actually won a Group 2. It's won the Remsen Stakes. That was 2 starts ago. It's an interesting horse, I think. It's from a line 12C, and as you would have noticed, the dam of it, Wild Gams, it's won over $1 million. That horse did. It was a triple Group 3 winner. It won probably countless stakes races, but I didn't include. They just seem to milk stakes races with it all through its career. Win 3 Group 3 races. And it's also a multiple black type producer, so it's producing decent quality horses, that horse. It's also from the family of 1992 Kentucky Oaks winner Love Me, Love Me Not. And that, to me, being a Group 2 winner with a pedigree like that, I mean, if anything is going to chase Forte home and give it a tough race, you'd have to say that this one's probably got a best chance of doing it, wouldn't you?
Yes, definitely. I think you're right there. The morning line for this one's 6-1, but like you said, Forte at 4 to 5. But these are just the beginning or the starting point, as far as that goes. But yeah, I think this could chase Forte home. I think there's going to be a fast pace for this race. Possibly Madge and Fort Bragg will probably be the front runners in the race. Forte kind of doesn't typically want to be in front, but he likes to be, just right off the front runner. Whoever's up in, towards the end of the race, whoever's, if it's Madge and Fort Bragg or some other horses, and then when Forte puts his, gets his call to go, then, Forte is going to, take over, in mid-stretch, most likely, because that's what he's kind of done in the past. So, where he'll close in the stretch. But there's some horses here that, have potential. But I think, in summary, other than Forte losing his rider at the gate or something, some unforeseen circumstance like that, wow. I think Forte has the best chance.
Well, I think that's fair assessment of that race, and beautifully put as well. Right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause this bit for a second, and there'll be a form section for people to watch. I put 3 races together. We've got the Risen Star Stakes, we've got the Rebel Stakes, and we've got the Fountain of Youth Stakes. So people will be able to watch them for the next 8 or 9 minutes, and then by the miracles of science, Monica and myself will be back with some selections. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. You'll have heard myself and Monica reference probably a couple of races on the Road to the Kentucky Derby this year in the form of these two races. So I think it's only fair, really, that we show you these races. So that's what I intend to do now. The first one is the Risen Star Stakes that was on February the 18th at Fairgrounds.
One more, Private Queen, Tyler Gaffleone for Hall of Famer Steve Asmussen on 9,999 career wins. It's a grade 2 over the 1 1/8 fast track. They're in the gate. And they're off in the Risen Star Stakes. Shaq Diesel going out toward the lead. Here's Determinedly Speed. Right there is Harlow Cap along with Victory Formation. And Private Creed also comes up on the outside. The scramble on to the first turn. It's Determinedly, Harlow Cap, and 3 wide Victory Formation in the red cap as they round the first turn with 7 furlongs to run. Shaq Diesel in 4th with on the outside Private Creed in 5th as these leaders go to the back of the track. Curly Jack is a ground saving 6th. 2 Phil 7th in between horses. Then comes the gray silver heist with Angel of Empire saving ground. A break of 2 more to Tappett's Conquest, who's 2 in front of Sun Thunder. Single ruler, we trail back to Quiet at Midnight and the Maiden. Croupy has drifted back to be 14th and last. The first 2 of 9 furlongs covered in 23.34 seconds. They have 5 furlongs to run. And it's Determinedly who leads here for Raylu Gutierrez. Determinedly in front, tracked by Harlow Cap. Shaq Diesel in 3rd. Victory Formation in the clear from 4th as they go past the half-mile pole now in the Risen Star Stakes. 2 Phils looks to gain in between horses. As they round the far turn, Private Creed is wide. Curly Jack buried toward the inside. Angel of Empire starts to gain. Angel of Empire moving up in between horses. With inside 3 furlongs to go, the half-mile went in 47.50 seconds. 3/4 in 1 minute 12.21 seconds. These leaders coming toward the quarter pole. It's Harlow Cap as 2 Phils looms up on the outside. Toward the rail, looking to stay this pace as they straighten for home is Determinedly with under a 1/4 of a mile to run. Coming down toward the final furlong, 2 Phils, Harlow Cap. Sun Thunder gets through toward the inside as they come down toward the final 16th. Getting in between horses, Angel of Empire. And farther out is Tappett's Conquest, who's also mustering a late rally past the 16th. And here's Angel of Empire for Luis Saez. Angel of Empire in the Risen Star Stakes. Angel of Empire has won it from Sun Thunder. 2 Phils 3rd, Tappett's Conquest 4th. Single ruler was 5th. Croupy passed a few of them home, including Harlow Cap and Determinedly.
Good performance there, I think, from the winner, Angel of Empires. He stayed on well, and he was always doing the best work towards the end of the race there, which I suppose in a trial is exactly what you want to see. The next race we're going to take a look at is another Group 2, the Rebel Stakes, and that was raced a week later at Oaklawn Park on February the 25th.
They're at the post. There's the Rebel Yell from the Oaklawn Park crowd. Frosted Departure and Giant Mischief, a hard scent, powerful. These 3 quickest. Verifying away in 4th. Then comes Confidence Game and Bourbon Bash. Talladega just outside of him. Reincarnate and Event Detail, and the early trailer is Red Route 1, and they turn to the backstretch with lots of speed on. It is powerful, 3/4 of a length in front of Frosted Departure in 2nd. Verifying and Stablemate. Giant Mischief are 3rd and 4th and 2 from the front. It's 2.5 back to Confidence Game. Gun Pilots at the rail, 6th and 4 off the lead. Then 2-2, Talladega and Bourbon Bash. Reincarnate has 10 lengths to make up. He's a length in front of Event Detail. Desperately last is Red Route 1. 1/2 mile to go in the 63rd Rebel. Frosted Departure and Powerful. Verifying and Giant Mischief. Watching those 2 from the front. Gun Pilot has moved at the rail. He's 5th now from Confidence Game. At the back of the pack still are Reincarnate, Event Detail, and Talladega around the far turn in the Rebel. Frosted Departure just in front of Powerful. Giant Mischief gets first crack at him, and here's Giant Mischief. Confidence Game is 3 deep. 2 back to Gun Pilot. Talladega is next. Reincarnate still has a long way to come, and Giant Mischief off the top of the turn is joined by Long Shot Confidence Game, and Confidence Game is now a length and a half in front. Reincarnate is trying to split horses to the outside, and Red Route 1 from the back of the pack. It is Confidence Game. Red Route 1 moves into second. Confidence Game, Red Route 1, Confidence Game. The 63rd Rebel goes to Confidence Game over Red Route 1. Reincarnate was third and Verifying finished fourth.
Very interesting run there from Red Route 1 there, or Red Route 1, as the Americans like to call him. The last race we're going to take a look at is the Fountain of Youth Stakes, which was ran earlier this month on the 4th of March 2023 at Gulfstream Park.
Dangerous Ride to take the outside. They're in the gate. And they're off in the Fountain of Youth Stakes. Forte was away cleanly enough, but Cyclone Mischief was first to begin, and he's ridden for the early lead. Up on the outside, Dangerous Ride has the same idea, so the outside 2 horses cross over and lead the way. Legacy Isle, meanwhile, angles off the inside, and Forte slides through at his inside. Rocket Can is next, and Mage is wide on the course. Il Miracolo is headstrong while third last. Second last, Blazing Sevens. The early trailer is Shadow Dragon. They make their way by an opening quarter in 24 seconds flat. Cyclone Mischief has the lead, and he has the rail. He leads by a length. Over Long Shot, racing second is Dangerous Ride. Out deep on the course in Mage. 3 wide, Rocket Can. Perfectly spotted early is Forte. The Breeders' Cup champion is only 3 lengths off the lead with Legacy Isle on his outside. These top flight horses have gone 5 ahead of Shadow Dragon, then Blazing Sevens, and Il Miracolo. Half a mile to go. They go to the first finish line in the 2023 Fountain of Youth Stakes. They went 47-3 for a half mile. Cyclone Mischief, he's been in front from the outset, and he still has the lead. Rocket Can starts to make a bid second. 3 wide, Mage is third. Irad Ortiz Jr. has strong hold of Forte. He looks ready to roll, just needs some open racetrack. Dangerous Ride calls it an afternoon, then Legacy Isle as they run to the top of the stretch. Irad decides to swing out, and Forte is on the go now. Cyclone Mischief fights to hold it. From between horses, it's Rocket Can. Mage is 3 wide, but a big presence 4 wide in the form of Forte. 4 across the course as they straighten for home. Out in the center, Forte tries to overhaul Cyclone Mischief, who's very game, but Forte's very good. As a 3-year-old, he debuts with an easy victory in the Fountain of Youth Stakes. Here's your 2-year-old champion. Here's Forte, geared down. Rocket Can second, Cyclone Mischief third, Mage ran well, he was fourth. Shadow Dragon to complete your high five in 143 flat. He's back.
He certainly is. I mean, if anybody wants to see why I made that horse my number 1 overall selection on the website, Classic Watch 2023, even though for some reason I have loaded in Classic Watch 2022. Then that's just it. What an impressive performance there by Forte, right? That's the form that I think people need to see when looking at these 2 races. It's now back to Monica and myself by the power of science, and we will have some selections for you. Hello, everybody, and welcome back by the miracles of science. Monica is still with us. And we're going to give a couple of selections now for the 2 races there. Florida Derby, the first, and the Arkansas Derby, the second. So it's over to Monica with her selections for these 2 races.
Florida Derby, my selection is Forte.
Fantastic.
Arkansas Derby, the Arkansas Derby, I have 2 selections, Rocket Can and Airtime.
Fantastic. I mean, they're very good selections there. My selections, if anybody's interested, Florida Derby, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to start tipping against my number 1 classic hope of the world. I'll just be very, very daft at this stage. Forte would be my selection in the Florida Derby, and where it comes to getting each way selections in that race, I mean, very difficult, so I'm not going to give any. The next race, the Arkansas Derby is very tricky, I think. I'm going to side with, is it called Route 10 or something? It's called Red Route 1.
Red Route 1.
Red Route 1. If people watch that run in the Rebel Stakes, I think they'll see it ran a remarkable race. And I'm going to side with that one. Red Route 1 would be my very tentative selection in the Arkansas Derby, which looks a tough race. I can make a case for airtime. I can make a case maybe for Reincarnate if the price was large enough. But the rest of them, airtime, Reincarnate, and Red Route 1 in reverse order would be my selections for the Arkansas Derby. Right, Monica, can I just take this opportunity to say thank you very much for finding the time to get the 2023 Classic Trail off and running with these two races. I mean, we talk off air. You're whipping me next week. You're getting your whip out and you're making me look at 2 fillies races and 3 colts races. That's the plan anyway across April the 6th, the 7th and the 8th. So, Monica, hopefully you'll be back for them, yes?
Yes, definitely.
And
it's on to the Derby.
Yes, and in between them, hopefully we will review some races along the way as well, which will be quite difficult because we've established that when I play the races, it affects the quality. So you'll have to go away and watch the race. I'll have to go away and watch the race. And then somehow we can talk about it afterwards with it not being on the screen sort of thing. So, Monica, thank you very much. All the best to everybody in Sherman, Illinois. And thank you very much, Monica. And you take care, yeah?
Yes, and you too. Thank you for having me once again. Thank you.
No problem, Monica. Goodbye.